Hi guys, and welcome to another Truth Nugget. I'm Becca Lori Hector, your BS detector, and this is my safe for work tidbit of truth midweek for you. And I'm feeling a little fancy today. I just want to share that with you guys. I actually put stuff in my hair today and put like real clothes on. I had a job interview today. So that's where I'm coming from. And I was like, hey, I have to do a video on Wednesday, but it's Tuesday. I'm gonna do it anyway because my hair looks good. So I'm doing it today. I won't put it out till tomorrow, obviously, so those of you that subscribe are getting it first. In any case, here I am with your Truth Nugget. So what are we going to talk about this week in our little midweek pick-me-up? Let's stay focused on who we want to be as people. And I think this week I'm going to tell the truth about therapy. My truth for today, my Truth Nugget is everybody needs therapy. Yes, everybody. Okay, so we deal with a lot of stigma, I think, when we talk about mental health and we talk about therapy and we talk about mental health medications, right? Anybody who's dealing with those areas knows there's a lot of stigma that comes along with that, societal stigma. And I'm not sure why, so I'm calling nonsense on it and I'm saying, hey, that's not true. The truth is everybody needs therapy and there shouldn't be a stigma. And I'll tell you why, right? Here's the deal. I think somewhere along the line, people thought that therapy was this big mystery of what went on there, and probably was in the really beginning. But these days, I think it's more common than not for people to need somebody that they can talk to privately and say anything that they need to, and to really talk through the things that they think about in their tiny heads, you know, all day long when we're worrying and worrying. Therapy is something I have a mixed relationship with, so I'm going to share that with you first, kind of before I talk about what's going on. So here's my relationship with therapy, I guess. For the first 36 years of my life, I had a horrible relationship with therapy. I was misdiagnosed a lot. At 36, I was diagnosed with autism. But I wasn't diagnosed with that until then. So up along the way of all of those years, people were always trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I was always trying to figure out what was wrong with me. So I was seeing a lot of therapists. I saw a lot of therapists. And I got misdiagnosed a lot. And I got mismedicated a lot. And that burned that bridge for me of trust with the people in that profession. And so somewhere about, I think I was like 24, 26, somewhere around there, I said, I've had it with these people. I'm done with therapy. I don't want any more. They're all full of crap. And I don't believe them. I'm smarter than them anyway, was sort of my feeling on the whole thing. And I'd never taken medication that had made me feel better because guess what? I was being medicated for the wrong things. So that's kind of where that mixed bag relationship came from. And then, you know, when I got diagnosed with autism, I decided I really needed the therapy and I needed to give life a second chance. And so I took that second chance that came with my diagnosis and I decided to give that and pay it forward to the therapy community and give them a second chance. And so I did, and I went to see a therapist for what I needed a therapist for the proper diagnosis. And I did get back into a relationship with therapy. And in fact, I stayed with that therapist for a solid 6 years. The only reason that I stopped seeing her was because I moved to Colorado. So I had to leave that place. And so it's been about 8 months for me since I've been in therapy. It's been 8 months of grieving. I miss therapy. I miss my therapist. We had a really long relationship and she was with me through a lot of things and she supported me through a lot of really difficult challenges. So I was really sad to end that relationship. And that's something I think people don't talk about. So for the last 8 months, I've been living here and not with therapy because I've been sad and missing my therapist and being afraid to try somebody new. But about 2 weeks ago, mostly because, and I'm going to admit this because I'm a non-BS person, it's per Walter's letter. I have to be seeing a therapist in order to be allowed to fly with my emotional support animal because I need a therapist to write the letter that I'm allowed to have one. And I was using my letter and it's out. I don't know what else to say. That if you have to get a new one every year, and the year came up for this one in February, so I knew if I wanted to do the upcoming travel that I have for speaking engagements, I had to make sure that I got my letter for Walter. And that meant having to deal head on with the fact that I've been sad without my therapist and that I miss her. And I also had to deal with what to do about finding someone. And so for me, I want somebody that's trauma informed. I want somebody that is comfortable with CBT and DBT. I knew those things about me. And so I went and I looked, and about 2 weeks ago, I went to my first therapy appointment in 8 months with a new therapist, and it wasn't so bad. It was nice to be back in the space, that really personal, intimate space that a good therapy relationship can give you. And it was nice to be back in that. And I'm actually going to be heading off shortly to my second appointment with this same therapist, and we'll kind of see how it goes. This therapist is not an autism specialist, and so that'll be new for me. And so it'll be interesting to sort of process through it as a human instead of as an autistic, or only with my autism foot, I guess. So that'll be fun. And so that thinking kind of led me to this idea that, like, hey, I'm going to blow up that stigma. Truth Nugget, everybody needs a therapist. That's right. Everybody needs one. And here's why. We pick up a lot of trauma and damage and things and messages and negative self-talk over the course of our lives. And many times we get into the habit of thinking that those things are our thoughts. Other times we run into challenges that we can't solve on our own. And we need someone who's going to be able to help us through that. And so you go to a therapist. And that is, some people, it's therapy kind of for that particular thing, and then they're sort of one and done, and that's all they needed to deal with. But for some of us, it's a lifetime commitment. I'm just going to call it that. I have depression, I have anxiety, and I'm on the autism spectrum, and so chances are I'm going to need therapy for the rest of my life. And it makes me feel good. So I've accepted it, and I've swallowed it. And I think if you're struggling with anything, even if you're feeling isolated, alone, and you have no one to talk to about private things, or that you don't want to bore your spouse with, or maybe you don't want their opinion because they tell you what you want to hear, or any number of reasons that you might want a non-biased opinion, someone to sort of help you process through the things that are hard. And if you don't have things that are hard, I'm calling BS on that. Because everybody has things that are hard. So blowing up the stigma, mental health is not something we need to hide from anymore. Everybody needs a therapist at some point in their life, whether they go to get one or not. So that's my Truth Nugget for today. It was great seeing you guys. I'm Becca Laurie Hector, your BS detector. You're going to see a little floating head kind of coming up of me and Walter, and that's my subscribe button for now, so you can click on that and subscribe, because on Fridays I will be coming out with my F word. So the next one coming up for us is the F word on Friday, and then it's back to no BS on Sunday, which you guys can catch up on if you want to. And of course, I'll be back next Wednesday with my next Truth Nugget. Till then, call your therapist.